Islam was saying that it was him and Ilia for the White House. Ilia was the reason why it didn't happen because he asked for too much money.
That's not true. A lot of went on behind the scenes making this card. The matchmakers went out, laid out every fight that was a possibility. And then I built the card and decided who was going to fight. The thing that mattered most to me, A, what do they mean? Are they important in the division? And stylistically, how do we think the fights will be? But more importantly, who can I count on and who do I know is going to show up? So here we are.
Before I get the confirmation to fight against Jaslyn, I was supposed to fight against Islam. So if the fight has to happen, it's going to happen. If not, it's not going to happen. I think it's going to happen at some point. I hope so, at least. And hopefully it's going to happen at the end of the year. After this fight, who knows? Maybe we are going to get that fight. Finally.
Get this news that Ilia Topuria is leaving the 45-pound title behind. He's going up to 55. And he's going to instantly contend for a world championship. And I remember pushing back. I remember arguing about that. Because Ilia was working so hard in the media to get himself a title shot. I did not feel that it was wrapped up. Like it was a little bow tie. Hey, here's the deal. You're the 45-pound champ. Slide up here. We'll do this whole champ routine. I didn't have that feel.
All right, fight fans, buckle up. What we just heard lays the groundwork for the hottest beef in the UFC right now. Ilia Topuria, fresh off securing the 145-pound title, immediately sets his sights on a colossal challenge, jumping to 155 to face Islam Makhachev. Now, this isn't just about weight classes. It's about a clear, undeniable statement. Ilia wasn't just thinking about moving up. He was actively pushing in the media for this super fight. This wasn't a casual call-out. It was a focused, calculated move to confront the lightweight king. The fact that the speaker remembers pushing back and arguing about it just highlights how audacious this challenge was at the time. It really puts Islam's subsequent actions into perspective regarding the escape Ilia later accused him of.
We get the same announcement, and it's Islam. Islam is going to leave 55 behind. He's going to go up to 170. And he is expected to get an immediate title shot. So you now have Ilia that left his belt and went after Islam. Very important. It's an extremely important part of the story. As a matter of fact, I'm not convinced that it isn't the entire story. This entire story is that Ilia came to 55 and put his finger in the chest of Islam, who did not fight him. As a matter of fact, he left the entire division to not fight him.
And here's where the plot thickens. Just weeks after Ilia makes his intentions clear to move up and challenge Islam, we get the counter-announcement. Islam is vacating 155 to pursue a title shot at 170. Coincidence? Many, including Topuria, would say absolutely not. The speaker here articulates the core of Ilia's accusation perfectly, that Ilia came to Islam's division, put his finger in his chest, and Islam, instead of accepting the challenge, left the entire division to not fight him. This is the very essence of the coward narrative Ilia is pushing, portraying Islam's move as an evasion, a strategic escape rather than a bold new challenge. The timing, for many, is just too suspicious to ignore.
When I recount this story, it struck a nerve with Islam. He did not like that. He did not like that Chael calls him a coward, which I must tell you, never happened. I don't call him a coward now. I'm telling you, Ilia Topuria came in the division, tried to fight him. Islam did not give Ilia the fight. As a matter of fact, Islam left the division. There's no talk of a coward. This is what happened. Now, it seems that that's the one that eats at Islam the most. I mean, it just seems like that.
You can practically feel Islam's frustration simmering when this narrative of him ducking Ilia comes up. He's clearly sensitive to being called a coward, even if the direct word wasn't explicitly used by the speaker. The point isn't about the specific terminology, but the implication of his actions. The facts, as laid out, speak for themselves. Ilia moved to 155, called out Islam, and Islam then moved to 170. Whether Islam sees it as a logical career progression or Ilia sees it as an escape, the optics are undeniable. It's clear this entire situation, and the suggestion that he avoided a fight, is eating at Islam, affecting his reputation and public perception more than he'd like to admit.
To last year, going into Madison Square Garden, where Islam was going to take on Jack Dale Maddalena, all of the talk was about Ilia. As a matter of fact, the rumors that there's going to be a card at the White House and what's going to main the event and who's going to fight, all of the talk is about getting Islam and Ilia together. Okay. So there is now, right here, today, Islam is upset with Ilia and saying, you're the one that cost the fight. Don't pretend that it's not. And he's talking about the White House. Hey, we were offered this fight. My side was in, your side wanted more money. Don't act like this isn't your fault.
Now, this is where Islam tries to flip the script, pointing fingers at Ilia and claiming his side was the problem. The speaker highlights that discussions for a potential super fight, even at the highest levels like the White House card rumors, were very real. But Islam's counter-argument is that Ilia wanted more money, implying that Ilia's demands caused the fight to fall through. This is Islam attempting to shift the coward label back onto Ilia by suggesting Ilia's financial expectations were the true barrier, not any reluctance on Islam's part. It's a classic chess move in fight promotion, trying to deflect responsibility and undermine the challenger's narrative. But does it hold up?
All right, now, this entire thing is predicated on the idea that you have Islam's side and you have Ilia's side, and there's always what the red corner says versus the blue corner, and you have interpreters, and you get lost in translation. Like, we understand absolutely 100% of those things, but boy, they're close. Right, I mean, of a typical story, there's my version, there's your version, and then there's the truth. On a typical story, it sure sounds like these guys are saying the same thing. And for whatever reason that this is the topic that gets Islam's panties in a bunch, for whatever reason, this is the one.
It's a tale as old as time in combat sports. Two fighters, two versions, and the elusive truth somewhere in between. What's fascinating here is how close both sides' facts appear to be, yet Islam's emotional reaction reveals the true sting of Ilia's accusation. The speaker notes that despite potential language barriers and the usual red corner versus blue corner spin, the core events are largely agreed upon. What differs is the interpretation. And that interpretation, which suggests Islam escaped the 155-pound division to avoid Topuria, is clearly the one that gets Islam's panties in a bunch. It exposes the raw nerve this accusation has struck, showing it's not just another call-out. It's a deep wound to his warrior pride.
And we're supposed to be aghast? We're supposed to be offended as the audience that he would then ask for more money? Like we're supposed to go, oh my God, Ilia cost him the fight. Here's Ilia coming off the reserve list, apparently to go against the #1 ranked guy pound for pound in the world. It depends whose ratings you look at. Some say it's Islam's and some say it's Ilia, but the very same list doesn't even have John Jones. So I'm just sharing. He's going to come off. He's going to do all of these things at a weight class that he's never done before to make believe that he's not going to ask for a bump in pay.
Let's dissect this more money argument that Islam is leaning on. The speaker challenges the audience's expectation that Ilia, coming off an injury and preparing to move up a weight class he's never competed in, shouldn't ask for a significant pay bump to face the pound-for-pound elite. Think about it. Ilia is taking a massive risk, stepping into unfamiliar territory against arguably the best fighter in the world. To assume he wouldn't demand to be compensated fairly for that risk and career-defining opportunity is completely unrealistic. This isn't just about greed. It's about a fighter understanding his worth and the magnitude of the challenge, turning Islam's excuse into a perfectly reasonable demand from Ilia.
I mean, nobody hates the renegotiation more than me. But Islam's argument is that the fight could have happened. It was held up on Ilia's side. So Ilia, who's not only left 145 to come chase you down at 155, who's not only called you out in the media, is now apparently even willing to go to 170. There's a price on it. It's not what he planned to do, but he's willing to do it. That sounds pretty good for Ilia's side to me.
The speaker masterfully dismantles Islam's Ilia held up the fight argument, highlighting Topuria's relentless pursuit. Ilia didn't just call Islam out at 155. He was willing to go even further, stepping up to 170 pounds if that's what it took. That's not the action of a fighter trying to avoid a bout or price himself out. It's the ultimate show of conviction and a willingness to meet his opponent on any terms. While there might be a price on it, as the speaker mentions, Ilia's clear readiness to chase Islam across 2 weight classes completely undermines any claim that he was unwilling or unable to make the fight happen. This narrative truly strengthens Ilia's position in this whole saga.
Islam committed that he was going to go back to 155. In the build-up leading into Jack, Islam had said, I am going to go back to 55. And I remember us over here at Bad Guy Inc. said, no, you never will. We're not saying that you're a liar. You're just, you don't know what you don't know. As soon as you get on the scale, I remember us talking about this, as soon as you get on the scale at 170 pounds, and you just realize how good you feel, how much better life is, that your genuine overall enjoyment of this thing called life, you are never going to go through the punishment and sacrifice of returning your body to 155 pounds. And sure enough, as soon as he weighed in at once,
this segment unveils a crucial piece of the puzzle. Islam's own words about not returning to 155 pounds after experiencing the benefits of fighting at 170. The speaker, with inside knowledge, predicted this long ago. When a fighter no longer has to endure the brutal weight cut, their enjoyment of life dramatically improves. This isn't about being a liar, it's about human nature and the physical realities of the sport. If Islam committed to staying at 170, it inadvertently provides more fuel to Ilia's escape narrative. It suggests Islam, having found comfort at a higher weight, simply had no intention of returning to 155 to face new challengers, Ilia included. It adds a layer of practical self-interest to his move, further distancing him from a direct confrontation.
like Islam and I do not dispute the story. Islam will tell it the exact same way as I told it. Islam will not come out and say Chael is out there saying things that didn't happen. We'll say it the exact same way. But Islam reasonably believes that he's got the high hand. I don't see it that way. If Islam and Ilia never fight, and we're forced as historians to look back on this time frame and anoint one of these guys for legacy reasons, to anoint one of these guys, we got to go with the guy that tried to make the fight. We have no choice. We have to go with the guy that left his division and entered your division and put a finger in your chest. You then left to another division, and by your own admittance, that guy was willing to eat.
When historians look back, the legacy of this confrontation, or lack thereof, will be determined by who genuinely tried to make the fight happen. The speaker argues forcefully that if this super fight never materializes, the credit, or blame, will overwhelmingly fall on Islam. Ilia made the undeniable move. He vacated his championship, stepped into Islam's division, and directly challenged him. Then, when Islam moved to 170, Ilia again expressed willingness to follow. It paints a clear picture of one fighter pursuing and another seemingly evading, regardless of the reasons. For legacy, the fighter who actively sought the challenge will always hold the moral high ground, solidifying Ilia's exposure of Islam's perceived escape.
Like, that's the part that nobody ever really likes to admit when you make these, somebody's, oh, must go. Nobody ever likes to talk about the fact that you're both painfully boring. But we got to put you on top of the bill. So we're going to put you against each other, not to find out who's better. We just want one of you gone. You're interchangeable mediocrities. Not that that's the case in this situation. I'm just sharing for you. Like, largely, that's what this talk keeps going about. Does it make any bit of difference if Ilia can put one on Islam's shin or Islam can drag him down to the canvas for 25? Does it make any bit of difference? Like, does your day change in the slightest?
This is a raw, often unspoken truth about many super fights in MMA. Sometimes, it's not about finding the best, but simply about eliminating one of the top contenders, particularly if both are seen as perhaps painfully boring or interchangeable mediocrity in terms of broader appeal. While the speaker clarifies this might not be the exact case here, it's a valid critique of how these matchups are often framed. It makes you wonder, does this Ilia versus Islam narrative truly elevate the sport, or is it more about strategic chess moves by the promotion and the fighters? This blunt assessment prompts us to question the true motivations and impact of such heavily hyped, yet currently stalled matchups.
25. Does it make any bit of difference? Like, does your day change in the slightest? But this does seem to be the one. Right? This seems to be the one that's got the larger and heavier champion talking about. And if we're forced to discuss this purely through the media, purely looking back at a specific time frame, this move in the media is another win by Ilia.
Ultimately, the speaker brings it back to the undeniable reality of this high-stakes media battle. Ilia Topuria is winning. Whether the fight happens or not, the current narrative, driven by Ilia's aggressive challenges and Islam's subsequent moves, has solidified Topuria's position as the relentless pursuer. Islam, as the larger and heavier champion, is constantly forced to address the questions, to defend his actions, and to counter the coward implication. In the arena of public perception and media discourse, Ilia's bold callouts and willingness to move up have undeniably secured him a strategic victory, continually putting Islam in a defensive posture and validating the idea of his escape.